The pink ribbon is a symbol of the global campaign against breast cancer. A beautiful promise resulting from an encounter between two women who befriended each other. From the US to rural Taitung, Taiwan, and launched in the early 21st century, this important public campaign we are unveiling to you is the Pink Campaign. Olivia He Zheng was an outstanding banker living in the USA. She was named as one of the U.S. White House Export Policy Committee members due to her outstanding professional banking performance. Working in the U.S. for many years as a banker, Olivia stumbled upon a unique venture capital opportunity. She witnessed how high-tech medical equipment could precisely perform minimum invasive treatment for cancer patients. Olivia was astonished to learn that this industry that could save so many lives lacked funds to make it widely accessible. In 1998, it seemed God called Olivia to leave banking, and she devoted herself as a leader in the high-tech medical industry.
When we design our products, we instill a goal and mission to allow patients to come in with a sense of stability, let them feel that they are cared for by us. So everything is about her, the patient. All of the focus is on the patient. We know that touching her spirit is the beginning of the examination. We hold this principle in all our centers. We have a good technology, but our true goal is to care for patients.
30 years ago, Taiwan's medical health education was still lacking. Jennifer Chun, with the spirit of do what others were unwilling to do, actively developed patient support groups, exerting influence over education with particular success in breast cancer patient support groups. 2003. Serving Taitung for more than 50 years, St. Mary's Hospital faced financial and operational difficulties. Called by God, Jennifer left Taipei to remote Taitung, where she faced a severe lack of resources for healthcare. She devoted her time to St. Mary's Hospital, which was known as a hospital for poor people. St. Mary's Hospital received the Medical Devotion Award many times, making it the most frequent recipient of this prestigious healthcare award in Taiwan.
Almost 30 years ago, I worked in Taipei doing breast cancer prevention work. I was distressed by the many poor conditions of breast cancer patients. Over the years, much progress has been made, and a couple years ago, I passed the breast cancer patient care work baton to an experienced team I helped to establish. To my surprise, when I arrived in Taitung, I saw many patients' conditions were as poor as what I had seen 20 years ago in Taipei when we first started breast cancer prevention work. I was so shocked and so sorry for people in Taitung. Kung Tai Foundation, such a small NGO, has more than 3,000 volunteers and did what other people can't do, won't do, or fail to do in this society. They do the most difficult things. Ever since, I have admired Jennifer very, very much. Last year, I happened to have had the opportunity to return to Taiwan. I told Jennifer, I'm back, and she told me that she was in Taitung.
Olivia is a charitable person who has never passed up a chance to help out when Taiwan was in need. She first visited Taitung on April 23, 2012. She was just visiting an old friend, but she was also curious about why Jennifer came to Taitung to serve. She did not expect her talk with Jennifer would linger in her mind all the way back to the United States.
I know one sister in Chenggong, Taitung, Sister Huang. She was an outstanding social worker, contributing greatly to the people of Taitung. One day I went to see her, and she told me that she was diagnosed with breast cancer and that the cancer cells metastasized to her bones, giving her back pain. I was very distraught. I asked Sister Huang, "Have you ever had a breast cancer screening before?" She said, "I have done a breast cancer screening, but did not find anything. When I discovered the cancer, it had already metastasized throughout my body." It made me wonder, how could the medical care in Hualien and Taitung counties be so underdeveloped? If nuns with medical knowledge have encountered such problems, what about the rest of us? When sisters developed breast cancer, there was no proper treatment to help her in time. Diagnosis and treatment were poor then, so women just died. My heart was crushed, so I asked Jennifer, "What can we do?" In Taipei, in my patient support groups, I take care of over 3,000 patients. But why is it in Taitung, once a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer, It is like she is sentenced to death.
Although Olivia was busy in Boston, her heart was with the sisters in Taitung. On the other side of the globe, Jennifer was calmly working on daily operational tasks of the hospital. But her calm was disturbed by heartache and shock when Sister Huang came down with late-stage breast cancer.
I only knew that she was doing a job related to breast cancer in the United States, something to do with MRIs. But I didn't really understand. I just wanted to work with her. I didn't anticipate, or ask questions, or expect that she can solve this problem for us. Just at that moment, I wanted to share the sorrow and the shock with a good friend. Taitung suffers from a lack of medical resources. Of course, this machine is the world's most high-end breast cancer diagnostic tool. St. Mary's Hospital, must have one, but they do not have the resources to buy this machine. So I felt that we should give them one. Let them have a chance to be able to use the world's most high-end technology to help the sisters with the world's most beautiful hearts. So, in this way, we decided to find ways to donate this machine to Taiwan.
Olivia wrote an email to Jennifer saying that for half price, Taitung could have its own cutting-edge diagnostic tool. This act of charity really moved Jennifer, but in a letter back to Olivia, Jennifer made it clear that even at half price, St. Mary's Hospital simply could not afford it. After a time, Olivia found more ways to make sure they got their machine. With the help of others, as well as fundraising overseas, Olivia wanted to bring the machine cost down from half price to being able to donate the entire machine free of charge. Letters flew back and forth discussing how they could accomplish this beautiful deed. The idea was firm. These two ladies were both born in Taiwan. One lived in Taitung, another in Boston, but they had the same thing in mind: care for the women's health in their home country.
Actually, I was also very scared because I feel like, goodness, we are such a small hospital. Can we do it? But interestingly, during our conversation, I suddenly heard a voice telling me that this is God's choice. I do not have the right to refuse. My first feeling was, thank God. This machine has the potential to help and save many lives. When they said that they were willing to accept, I felt that this may be the arrangement of God. Let these things turn back their focus on the main issue: care for people. It is God's will. This is a good thing.
Although they were able to make things happen when nobody believed that they could succeed, they were still not able to make full use of their contributions because the real difficulties had just begun.
With tariffs totaling 18 million NT dollars, I thought, where am I going to get this money? And also 5 million NT dollars for transportation? Where can I find this money? There was no one with this kind of experience. The hospital's entire electric system would need to be modified, which would require everyone's cooperation. This was a scary thought. In Taiwan, the import tax for medical equipment is 5%, but the import tax for the BMRI vehicle was 25% because it was a donation. If we report the price of the BMRI below the cost instead of its retail value, it could help to reduce the import taxes, and perhaps the government will waive the taxes since the numbers are smaller. So now the price was 600,000 NT dollars, which actually doesn't even cover the cost of production. So now, although we still needed to pay the tax, the amount is much lower. So all of this was thanks to Olivia.
Although a lower price was reported, Taiwan St. Mary's Hospital would still need to pay a hefty sum of taxes. Jennifer thought, this is a charity donation. Why should it be subject to taxation?
I kept thinking, since this is charity, why should it be subject to taxation? I've always held the belief a charity donation should be tax-free.
Import tariffs were a time-consuming challenge and involved many complications. Fortunately, Ministry of Finance officers were eager to help. They helped to find a government regulation which perfectly fit the situation, exempting us from import tax.
After finding this so-called disaster relief supplies import loophole, we were able to meet some regulations. But there was still a lot of government paperwork to go through. It was very, very difficult. Therefore, the time passed by steadily. Later, we heard that another sister had passed away. Another sister lost to breast cancer. We were so anxious, we couldn't wait any longer.
Small but beautiful St. Mary's Hospital was about to suddenly accept an expensive medical screening device. But it was like a mission impossible just trying to find a location for it.
The machine is very heavy, weighing 5 or 6 tons. To ensure the magnetic field was stable is also very hard, so we needed to utilize a proper shielding design and a larger container truck that we could put our MRI machine into so that the hospital doesn't have to redesign its facilities or deal with the magnetic issue. But as this was an oversized vehicle, therefore it did not comply with road regulations in Taiwan, and so there was just no way to import it and no way to deliver it.
While everyone was still brainstorming, Taiwan's Ministry of Transportation modified the road regulations under special conditions where the trailer could be imported with limited transportation frequency. Instantly, there was a solution to the original problem. Both the Taiwan and Boston teams finally made up their minds to import the mobile BMRI trailer. Taiwan St. Mary's Hospital decided to build a parking space in the parking lot in order to create safe operation surroundings. The hospital's team worked around the clock day and night, devoting themselves to constructing the site. We first used real photos stitched onto a simulated field in order to render the complete image simulation. In the past, this place was a rice field. That said, we were very worried. After we began to dig, we needed to check if the earth was suitable or not, so that we could assess how many pounds of cement were needed and how thick the steel reinforcement bars had to be. We had to keep in contact with the Aurora headquarters, always keeping in touch and letting them know what was going on here. And that's how we planned it all. How could a car up to 16 meters in length be successfully delivered to Taiwan? It was a difficult and challenging task from the factory to the harbor and the long journey across the ocean and through the mountains to Taitung. The whole delivery process had to be executed with the utmost caution.
During transportation, this MRI magnet has to be kept cold with liquid helium. If low temperatures are not maintained, the helium will turn to gas and escape the cryogenic chamber, resulting in the demagnetization of the magnet. If maintenance of the MRI during travel is poor, it means that we would probably need to pay nearly 2 million NT dollars more to refill the helium. And if the helium level drops below the standard level, then this machine could be damaged. This is a problem.
The Zhang Yongfa Foundation showed their loving heart by taking responsibility for the whole transportation process, promising to be responsible for all of the transportation charges.
They gave us a simple solution, which they called door-to-door service. That is, from their door to our door, we would not have to worry about anything in between. When we received the okay, we immediately took action in order to ensure that this boat would return to Taiwan on time. Within a short period of time, in only a week, we solved the problem. This ship first went to the United States, going to Los Angeles first. We had to first test the outlet in the US. After making sure that it was functional, when lifting the trailer onto the boat, We had to make a link with the machine and a 480-volt outlet. However, general container vessels only use 440 volts, so to deal with this particular machine, we were forced to create a 480-volt outlet.
After meeting with the U.S. technical team more than 20 times, nearly 3 months of preparation, and 3 weeks on the ocean, this BMRI machine and its truck smoothly and successfully arrived in Taitung on May 16, 2013. These 3 months we have had to coordinate with the traffic, transportation, and government agencies. There were various challenges: the U.S. side of the transport, the Taiwan side of the transport, and of course lifting. And now, finally having finished goods inspection, we are ready to go. The power supply was another big problem. Historic St. Mary's Hospital's electrical system was outdated. How were they going to provide a special 480-volt power source without conflicting with the existing system? The issue created a lot of anxiety within the hospital team.
When we applied for the electrical power supply, there was no precedent to follow in Taitung, so we had to discuss this with the electric company many times. The result was to change the entire hospital's electricity network. To complete this power and circuit restructuring, preliminary estimates of the cost were around 5 million NT dollars. But with the help of the electric company and lots of local technicians, the problem with installing the new electrical system were solved.
After intensive meetings between the hospital's engineering group and the U.S. team, as well as the help of the electric company, the power supply was finally set up successfully. High-end medical equipment required a professional team to operate. Only then could this goodwill project be complete. But Taitung was a resource-poor area, and it was extremely difficult to recruit the right people.
To be able to operate this machine, the government stipulates that the hospital must have a CT scan machine and must be supervised by qualified radiologists with 2 years of trained MRI experience and 2 radiological technicians. For our hospital our size, there was simply no way to recruit people like this, and we also needed physicians specializing in memory diseases. It was so difficult.
Following the sudden regulation change, Taipei Medical University Hospital's Dr. Borong Huang's team also agreed to support Taitung with their expertise in breast cancer. Such a small hospital has taken up the responsibilities of serving Taitung, and they work hard to take care of their residents. This human sincerity has really touched me, and I knew that I had to come to help with this. The problems of transportation and manpower have subsided, leaving everyone in anticipation of this beautiful historic moment when the BMRI would be functional. On the one hand, Jennifer Chun can't believe that most of the problems have been solved, yet on the other hand, she secretly worries about future operations.
Maintenance fees alone for the service contract are nearly 6 million NT dollars a year, not to mention the cost for health promotion, health education, and training. However, we've already got such a big gift, and so we've put so much effort into this thing, we just have to say to ourselves, we must keep going. The last time when Jennifer first arrived in Taitung, she sent me an email saying, "Olivia, this is Jennifer. I'm in Taitung. Taitung has been devastated by Typhoon Morakot. I need help." It was a very short message. I was in the United States and immediately contacted my circle of friends. I told them of the seriousness of Typhoon Morakot in Taiwan and the need for resources in Taitung. These people in the United States have nothing to do with Taitung. They don't even know where Taitung is. But when people see how people's lives are devastated by nature, they are willing to lend a helping hand. So I thought, there is some good in the world. Many people are willing to do good things. So when I think of Jennifer worrying about the huge sum of the costs, trying to help people in Taitung to do the breast cancer screening, I believe there will still be many people willing to help and support the effort. The hospital will provide an annual quota of 1,000 free screenings to people at high risk of developing breast cancer. There are also some residents who require screening after diagnosis. They too will be given this opportunity. Of course, if you do not meet these conditions, you are not in these high-risk groups. So for those friends in Hualien and Taitung counties, we also want to provide a discount for MRI screenings and help them make MRI screenings a very easy and accessible examination. This matter is not yet complete, but I can see doors after doors are gradually opened. We are grateful for those people who open the doors, and those hands behind pushing them open. During the process, all the arrangements are unique and special. It's just like one miracle after another. We pass through all of the difficulties one by one. Specialists come as urgent matters arise and lend us a big hand. I'm brought to tears. I feel so thankful for all the people that have helped, and I'm just so touched because this miracle we thought could never happen, it happened.
Everything came together to make the pink campaign possible. The weather was not good a few days before the mobile MRI arrived in Kaohsiung, but when it departed for Taitung, the sky was clear, allowing the truck to drive smoothly and safely. When the truck crossed the south passageway, a sudden rain cooled the tires, preventing them from overheating. A series of continuous coincidences were the most direct blessings from God, promising that the pink campaign in this century would be one of Taiwan's most important charity donations. This would begin a new chapter for rural medical services in Taiwan.
I will be the first to stand up and allow the sisters in the tribe to stand by me. We will use the device wisely to serve all breast cancer patients in the Taitung area. I feel very excited. This was such a great gift. It's really arrived.
The first decision really was the hardest. Lots of twists and turns happened along the way, but somehow, incredibly, we overcame each one. It's as if we have given birth to a baby, but this gift was sent to us from heaven.
If she does not want to come out, then we will go accompany her. We hope that all of our sisters are no longer hiding in the corner crying.
As long as it is the right thing, as long as it is correct, and as long as it does good for humankind, I think we have to do it seriously.
It may not be the first. There may be a second or even third thing like this. Of course, we want everyone to participate. Let us all feel. Let everyone know that we deserve to be taken good care of. We must first love ourselves. Think that we deserve to be loved. Then we can love others. I think this is a very beautiful thing, and every single little thing can help. I think it is a very happy thing.
Silent!